him. So it started, Bill, with all that pomp and circumstance. We watched it together, but they will soon be getting down to brass tacks. There's so much hanging in the balance at this U.S.-China summit. The world's two biggest economies have a lot to discuss on trade, on technology, and then there is, of course, the issue of Iran.
Yeah, we'll see where the ball moves on that, if at all. China's the largest buyer of Iranian oil, and right now a fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran hangs in the backdrop. According to the president, before he left Washington, that is not the focus of this trip.
I have a great relationship with President Xi, and I think it's going to remain that way. We have a lot of things to discuss. I wouldn't say Iran is one of them, to be honest with you, because we have Iran very much under control. We're either going to make a deal or they're going to be decimated. So one way or the other, we win. But we're going to be talking with President Xi about a lot of different things. I would say more than anything else will be trade.
Wilder. Okay, now Aisha Hasni reporting with me here live in Beijing, and hello to you.
Hello to you.
Go ahead and
Good evening. Good morning. We don't know still. Hey, the president has previewed what he's going to talk to Xi about first, and that is trade. He said that he's going to ask Xi to open up China to business with these business executives that he's bringing along with him in this big delegation. We just saw the arrival. Let's put that up on the screen there. He was greeted by the vice president of China and 300 Chinese kids, Bill, waving the China and U.S. flags. He says trade is the top priority for this state visit, not Iran. Although Iran will come up, he plans to have a long talk with Xi about it. But he says that he does not need China's help when it comes to Iran, noting that China is the one that has a lot to gain from the end of this conflict.
No, I don't think we need any help with Iran. We'll win it one way or the other. We'll win it peacefully or otherwise. Their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone. Every single element of their war machine is gone.
So here's what we expect to be on the table for these talks. China wants to lower tariffs. They currently have a 10% tariff on them. They want to talk about beef sales, soybean sales, artificial intelligence will come up, rare earth minerals for chips. Taiwan will come up. It is the largest chip maker in the world. And talking about chips, Bill, NVIDIA's Jensen Huang jumped on aboard Air Force One in Alaska during the refueling. Of course, NVIDIA's most advanced chips, those are used for training AI models. They haven't been able to get those into the Chinese market just yet because of U.S. restrictions. We'll see if that changes after these talks. And the president, like I said, will be here with a lot of CEOs. They're on your screen right now. Elon Musk among them. He was on board Air Force One. Others arriving separately here. Trump True Social while aboard that he wants Xi to do business with these folks. So we will see if that is the result of these talks.
You know,
ladies and gentlemen, good morning. What an exciting morning. Things are happening, and they're happening quickly. And it's a moment to lock in Wednesday, May 13th, 2026, as President Trump has arrived in Red China. He got the red carpet treatment. The Chinese are loving Donald Trump. They're lining the streets like a celebrity. They're outside, camped outside of his hotel. Everybody looking to get a glimpse of the most powerful man in the world. President Trump, of course, flanked with Elon Musk. It's beautiful to see. And Marco Rubio trolling communist dictators live from the plane. We knew we'd get a lot of memes out of this moment. We just didn't know they'd be happening in real time during the flight, which has landed in Beijing. A pretty remarkable look. I did want to ask, ALX, do you have the other arrivals? Get me that hilarious arrival of Obama. Do we have a side-by-side of Obama? ALX, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Something I forgot to ask in pre-production for the show. Get me the either the Joe Biden or Barack Obama arrivals. Do you remember when China put Obama, I think, in the dumpster part of the airport? They put him on Spirit Airlines, effectively. They put him inside the BWI Spirit Airlines wing of the Chinese Beijing airport, is what they did to Obama. Give me a side-by-side. So get that immediately. I want that immediately. Get me a side-by-side of Obama's arrival versus Trump's arrival in China, and I'll show you what respect looks like. In fact, the throngs of people are so massive and deep in China as this is happening, again, live in real time. We actually have a live feed up. It just shows the front of the hotel right now. But we'll be tuning and dipping in and out. I don't know if they'll have a camelcade. If you're familiar with our program, you'll know that we're irrationally obsessed with the camel motorcade that they did in Qatar for Donald Trump. And so I doubt they're going to have one of those. I don't know if that's the thing in China, but whatever it is, we'll be ready to cover it. It's very interesting. President Trump has stopped his motorcade a couple times already to wave. But they ain't waving in China when they see what Marco Rubio was wearing. His drip goes hard. We'll talk about it with Tim Burchett on the program. Of course, our dear friend back again, Chairman James Comer and Mike Lawler will be on the program. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Patriot Mobile, ladies and gentlemen, as ever, I'll be traveling. I'm going to take my kids to the Great Yellowstone National Park. That's what I'm going to do. I have a speech to give in Bozeman, Montana tomorrow, and I decided this is a time to take my children to Yellowstone. You want to go to Yellowstone, you want to like hard code your children into American greatness, and that's what I'm going to do. My wife and I decided literally seconds before the show, we're just going to do it. It's a tough flight with kids. We're just going to do it, and we're going to show the kids the great American West. What is Patriot Mobile service going to be like in Yellowstone? I bet it's going to be amazing because they're on all three major networks. They're an incredible carrier. They're dear friends of us, and they've protected us, defended us, and kept us locked in all around the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, use Patriot Mobile today. They're the only Christian conservative wireless provider. They're 100% U.S.-based customer service representatives can get you switched over today to the most powerful, consistent, and premium cell phone service in America. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny and call 972-PATRIOT. Use a promo code Benny for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Benny. Okay. So President Trump greeted like a conquering hero in China. But I really want to show you what it looks like when you troll China right before arriving. And I'm not talking about these memes, which we knew there was going to be a lot of memes on the way to China. Again, Air Force One has landed. Like, here's Trump flying over Iran on his way to China.
Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire, boom.
We knew there'd be memes. Also, please tell me.
Fire, boom.
Please tell me that's what the inside of Air Force One looks like. Please tell me this is what the new Qatari Air Force One looks like. I beg. I've flown on Air Force Two. I've never flown on Air Force One. Here's a flight, pretty famous flight. The flight of the Valkyrie, the flight of the Navy SEALs, Delta Force, black bagging a communist dictator in front of the Chi-Coms, by the way. A reminder that they waited until the Chinese delegation was there. Xi Jinping's number 2 and number 3 in command were actually in Venezuela to pull off this operation. A reminder that they actually grabbed Nicolas Maduro out of his bed, sleeping in his silk pajamas, right next to his wife. They melted down Chinese tech. They melted it down. The billions of dollars of Chinese tech was protecting Nicolas Maduro. This was a message to China. This Maduro op was a bigger message to China than anything that's happening in Iran. It's a bigger flaming middle finger than anything that's happening anywhere else in the world. Venezuela sold 70% of their oil to China. They were a Chinese colony here in the American hemisphere, and they got rolled. And it all happened right in front of the Chinese delegation, was sending a message. They melted down the Chinese tech. They reduced Maduro's bodyguards to vomiting blood in a fetal position on the ground. They black bagged him and threw him in a Nike Tech track suit, gave him some stunner shades, a water bottle, and tied him to a pole. And that's what they did. Then they frog marched him through New York City after flying him right over the Statue of Liberty, something you're not allowed to do unless you get federal permission from President Trump. And that's exactly what they did. So they showed him the Statue of Liberty, and then they dropped him right into New York and frog marched him through the center of capitalism. And it's like just an unbelievable flex. Ain't nobody ever seen anything this strong. Well, anyway, almost immediately people started making this funny meme of Marco Rubio wearing the tracksuit. And you know, on our show, we love it when the memes actually literally come to life. And here's Marco Rubio wearing the same Nike Tech tracksuit in his famous meme template, where Marco Rubio's learning he has a new job, right, in the federal government. Lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, Rubio did the meme. This is a real, not AI, real photo of Marco Rubio wearing his Maduro tracksuit on the way to meet with another communist dictator who might get black bagged as well. I'm just kidding. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But it was a message. This is a message to China that we're in control. Not only are we in control of our hemisphere, we are in control of our future, our empire. And the purpose of this trip is going to be to assert that control. This is why Marco Rubio's wearing this drip. Now, what also happened here was that Marco Rubio skyrocketed in the only poll that matters for 2028, the meme polls. As of right now, the meme polling has gone to JD Vance because there's so many JD Vance memes that are unhinged on the internet, although there are a lot of good Marco Rubio memes. I don't know about this audience. This audience seems incredibly split as to whether they want JD Vance or whether they want Marco Rubio. I am unsure. How about this? We'll do a poll just like President Trump did at the White House yesterday. Here's President Trump at the White House earlier this week doing a poll. Who do you want, JD Vance or Marco Rubio? We'll put up your comments live during this clip. You tell me, who do you want, Marco or JD?
We got a lot of beauties out there, JD. I envy you and other people. I don't know. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be JD? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't know. Does anybody have? Okay, let's go. You ready? Who likes JD Vance? Who likes Marco Rubio? All right. Sounds like a good ticket. JD and that was a perfect ticket. By the way, I do believe that's a dream team, but these are minor details. That does not mean you have my endorsement under any circumstance. But, you know, it was a big and then a very nice. I think it sounds like presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. President of the...
Okay. Lot of, I think it's split. I think it's split. Rubio, Don Rubio. I don't know that. Do you mean Donald Trump running or Donald Trump Jr. running with Marco? A lot of Marco love, though. A lot of Vance love. And here's a Tulsi. Vance Rubio. Both. Sorry, there's too many comments. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, and then here we go. Jesus died on the cross for us. Very important comment as well, right there. Okay, so back to the show. So the President Trump's obviously already polling this and is going strong, and so is the meme economy for Marco Rubio. This is a critical economy. This is an economy we care about. You can't meme Kamala Harris. They tried to make the coconut meme. They tried to make the palm tree meme. They tried to make the brat summer meme. None of it worked. All of it was cringe. All of it was pathetic. None of it showed your energy, your vibe, your aura. Those things matter. Sorry, it's 2026. It's going to be 2028. They're going to matter even more. Like Spencer Pratt right now is winning aura in the LA mayoral race. And so your memes matter. So how do you like these Rubio memes? I got a couple for you. Here's cute baby Rubio. Okay. So how do you like that? Okay. Let's do a couple more. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they did it? Could you imagine if they did it? Come on. Here you are, side by side. Marco fit. There you go. Marco Rubio DJing. All right. Marco Rubio in tactical gear. Marco Rubio with a burrito. Don't know. Not sure. Okay. Marco Rubio, Air Rubio. How do you like that? Okay. I like that. Here's King Marco of Venezuela. Good. Marco Maxing. If you're going to do it, go all the way. He could have brought some props. Fine. Miami Marco, ladies and gentlemen, and President Trump sharing that Venezuela should be the 51st state. Hey. I mean, listen, polling is showing that actually Marco Rubio has the highest odds on. This is from Atlas Intel, so this is what it is. But it's Rubio versus AOC. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for Rubio versus AOC? Okay, just one more.
32 ships, all 32 are at the bottom of the ocean. Other than that, they're doing very well, Coach.
Please wear this with your meeting with Xi
Their army
Jinping.
is gone. They're just about.
Please.
Their navy is gone.
Please wear this for Xi
Their
Jinping.
communications are gone.
All right.
Their leaders are gone. 2 sets of their leaders are gone. They're down to their 3rd set. Their air force is wiped out entirely. Think of it. They have 32 ships.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I got the side-by-side that I wanted. Holy moly, this thing is beautiful. Has it been loaded? This is a thing. This is a thing of absolute beauty. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Trump versus Obama's pathetic arrival in China. Yeah. Can we do, look, I noticed that Obama had to exit out of the ass of Air Force One, is what they say. I'm trying to be snippy here, but they actually forced him, they gave him the shorts, they didn't bring any stairs to him. So they didn't even arrive with stairs. They had to exit out of the Air Force One stairs, the Biden stairs, the retard stairs. They forced Obama out. Can we do this one more time with, we do this one more time, Klein, with this music?
The future of MAGA is here. For Giotto Blow. This is Donald Trump, it's your president. 2024, we coming back. Joe Biden in the crowd taking
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Burchett set. Let's go. Okay. It wasn't just me. It was him getting out of the ass of the airplane. You had that article? Barack Obama forced to exit from ass of Air Force One. You have that article, Klein? Look at that. It's like, the difference between that and what they did with Trump is just absolutely wild. Can you just cycle really quickly, Klein, through what it looks like, the aura of Donald Trump? And then we're going to jump on over to Burchett. Good old Burchett. Here's Trump's arrival. Magisterial, mysterious, dark, moody. Let's keep going. Show the people. What else we got? Millions of Chinese waving American flags and Chinese flag. Look at the red carpet. Slight difference between Obama arrival. Slight difference between Obama versus Trump arrival. And the vice president of China is there to meet Trump. Should have been Xi Jinping, but that's fine. I don't think that's I don't think that's a huge insult. There you go. Here's Donald Trump getting into his car. Got Eric and Laura Trump back there. Okay. They're like chanting for him. Got more? Oh, that's not it. We got more? That's not the one we want. No, thank you, Klein. That's something for Tim Burchett, in fact. That's us just prepping and getting ready for the great Tim Burchett, who should join the show live right now. Let's lock in. We have more to talk about with China. ALX, make sure we get a watermark on that video and get it posted, please. Rock and roll. The great, maybe the greatest member of Congress. I'll leave it for the chat to debate. But it's Tim Burchett, who joins us live right now from deep red country, Tennessee. Congressman, I'm sad to see that you're not in Tennessee. I'm sorry. I was just hoping. I was making a guess. Looks like you're in the swamp.
I'm sad. Yep. I'm neck deep in the sewer, Benny.
You know what? You were neck deep in Joe Rogan's podcast studio. An absolute banger of an interview. That was a real fun couple hours. Thanks for the shout out.
You're the man. No, we came to the dance together, brother. I'm not gonna forget you for that. You put me on early on, and I kind of got me going down that path. So thank you, brother. We kind of lit the internet on fire the first couple of times we were on. So
that's what we do. That's what we do around here, right? That's what we're here for. We're the farm team, right? Make sure that the right people get promoted, get into the Twitter ecosystem, and those clips go viral. And then every producer, because producers are lazy in Washington, D.C. and New York, every producer sees those clips and they're like, oh, we should book them, right? But somebody has to actually like crack the code, and that's what we do around here, and we're thankful for you. And you said we brought you to the dance. Well, here's a dance right here, Congressman. This is Justin Peterson doing quite the dance here after Democrats lost their only seat their only black seat represented by a short, balding midget member of the Lollipop Guild named Steve Cohen, who happens to be very white. And now Democrats have been stripped of a lot of power in the House for staging an insurrection in the Tennessee State House. I want to get your take on this.
Well, they deserved it. One guy lit a Confederate battle flag on fire, and had, a senator standing on a desk screaming on the Senate floor. It was a clown show, really. And and the sad truth is they'll probably all get reelected in their districts after acting like that.
Do you believe that Justin Peterson, we called for his arrest because he threatened a Tennessee state trooper? He got up in his face and started calling him boy, calling him MFer, clearly aggressively going after the cop. Do you believe that there should potentially be charges for these legislators who did this, these activist legislators who did this in the Tennessee State House?
I do, but I suspect there won't be. I tweeted about it, and then I've run into multiple state troopers since that happened, and they were all very grateful because, they're paid to protect the state legislators. And then to have a state legislator turn on them like that guy did, he went to this sort of Ivy League school. I think it cost about $95,000 a year. Both his parents are professional. He was a short haircut, nice young man, graduates from college. Now he's got the fro going, and then doing all that craziness at that graduation and dropping MFers and you see that's what's being celebrated. We really need some leaders in our inner city, and we're not getting that from these folks. I always say they're going to cut themselves every time they deal one out of the race card, because that's exactly what they're doing, and it'll never change, and they don't want it to change. I have the same theory of supposed leaders overseas. As long as people are fighting and killing each other and black on white, white on black, whatever, you're going to have the same folks in power. And that's exactly what they want. They love being in leadership, but they sure as heck don't want to lead, Benny. And that's what you're seeing with this guy and the rest of them. They're just a bunch of radicals. And it's not your granddaddy's Democrat Party anymore. I can tell you that.
Should we just expect Democrats to stage an insurrection every time they don't get what they want?
Yes, I think we should. But the problem is we get used to it, and we just it becomes the norm. And these kids see that as the norm. Wow, look at all the attention they're getting. Everybody's cheering for them and all this. And they're not getting anything done. When I was in the legislature, you had a state senator from that area who didn't even live in his own district, and it was a very confined little area that he represented, and they cut, and I believe it was in 92 or 93, the Democrats actually had 14 Republican seats, and they combined them into 7. And that's how they kept power. And they just continued to do that. And then now, the state is so red, the Trump revolution kind of washed them all away. And I think we'd be making a big mistake if we didn't capitalize on that.
There's something that still I can't quite figure out, which is how they thought this was going to go down. They brought noisemakers. I know we have the letter. ALX, can we pop up the letter, please, from the Speaker of the House in the Tennessee State House? There's a letter here this morning. Some of our viewers, we haven't covered it yet in the show, may not have seen this. It broke late last night. The Speaker of the House in Tennessee has now stripped all Democrats effectively of power of their committees. and taken away their ability to introduce legislation on these committees or serve on these committees because they stage a literal insurrection. The letter goes through that, how they blocked the well of the House. They brought noisemakers, flashbang grenades, literal pyrotechnics. They literally were lighting fires inside of the Tennessee State House. And then they were harassing other members, blocking the aisles. And so here is the letter from the Speaker of the House in Tennessee saying Democrats are going to be stripped of all power. We're not going to allow this. You're not going to be able to stage an insurrection because you didn't get your way. And I love this move. Congressman, your take on this move. I'm sure you know this guy, Cameron Sexton.
Yeah, Cameron. Yeah, I know Cameron well. He grew up in my area. He lives Middleton, up on the Plateau. That's the area he represents now. I sat with him at Mayor Glenn Jacobs' final budget address in Knoxville this past week, Monday morning, sat right beside him. And we talked a little bit about it. But yeah, of course, you have to worry about making these folks martyrs. But then again, you gotta slap their hand when they reach too many times in the cookie jar. And this is what they've done. They've literally broken the law. And if it had been a private citizen doing any of this, they would have, at the very least, they would have been arrested. They would have been arrested. Correct. You know, I spent 16 years in the legislature, and we never saw anything like that. And I can remember the speaker banging the gavel saying, "Clear the galley," and state troopers cleared it. There wasn't any question. And it happened maybe once or twice when I was there, but the way they acted in this was just foolish. And again, where are the leaders in the Black community saying this is not acceptable? This type of behavior is not acceptable, and they're not. You're not going to hear it, and that's why it's not going to change in those leadership positions.
Not only is it not acceptable, I actually think that it's probably harmful to their agenda. Overall. Right. So I'm kind of I'm thankful for them to keep doing it. Having Democrats stripped of all these committees, doesn't that just that just gives Republicans more power? You're just playing into our.
We got a super majority. They are a small minority of the body. The Democrats are, and because of this kind of activity, just drives it more and more in, and with moderates and other people, and that's why you're seeing the numbers on our side, at least in the state of Tennessee, are going the Republican way. And you got to realize, though, the courts have ruled that you can't not have a racially defined district, and that's exactly what they're saying. They're saying we're not having representation, but then, as you stated, they're being represented by a white guy, Steve Cohen, who's been in that seat for, I guess, over a decade now. So it's very ironic. The whole thing is just, and I see some washed up musician hollering about how awful it is and how we're losing our Nashville. Well, look at your Nashville. I mean, the taxes, and look at Memphis, same thing. They're just driving everybody out. And that's what they do. They drive everybody out and then expect the federal government to come in and save the day. And those days are gone, I hope.
I certainly hope. It seems like you got things sorted out in Tennessee, and everybody's screaming about Nashville seceding and yelling about how nice life actually is in a red state. You're free to leave. What's amazing to me is these people are free to go to LA or San Francisco or New York at any time. Like, you can go. You don't have to live in a clean, orderly, law and order, prosperous red state. You don't have to live in Florida. You don't have to live in Texas. You don't have to live in Tennessee. You can go. Minneapolis is just a flight away, right?
Yeah. That's why that's why when I go visit some areas of my district I represent, that they all have a northern accent, and they've all left. And because they said, look, we know how bad it is we're at, and we're warning you, don't make it. Don't Californiaize, our Tennessee. And they are literally coming in droves. I mean, it's just every day. You can't get, price of real estate's going up. I mean, it's still incredibly reasonable compared to anywhere else in the country, but for us, it's kind of a jump.
So zooming out to the rest of the country, John Thune yesterday made a lot of people angry. with these comments here. Thune saying there's nothing more he can do to pass the SAVE Act. We just don't have the votes, he says. We had a very spirited debate, and I made a speech, he says. So I've done a lot to get the SAVE Act passed, says John Thune. Are Republicans ever going to get tired of doing the same like song and dance they've been doing for my entire life, which is we made a speech, and so now that proves that we did all what we can?
I think my favorite is we're writing them a strong letter.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I'm so tired of this gutless Republican behavior. Again, the reason we're where we're at is the Trump agenda. It's not the congressional or the senatorial agenda. And we've continuously fumbled all the way through this thing. We might get another shot at it with this redistricting, but Thune is, I think he's way off the mark. He needs to use that bully pulpit and exert a little pressure. But I really don't. Down deep, I don't think these people want to be. They like it when it's just status quo. And again, a lot of Republicans in the House, I think they want to be out on the golf course and let the Democrats call them when it's time to come vote, and then they can come in. Again, they like being in leadership, but they don't like leading, and that's exactly what you've got there. You can't get anything out of the Senate. The bill to defund the Taliban, $40 million a week we're sending them, and I can't even get a budge out of the. It's past the committee, but they won't schedule it for a floor vote. It's just continuously. That's all what we're running into. They have a lot of hearings, and eventually America's got to wake up and say enough is enough. It's not enough to put Republicans in. We got to put people that think like we do, that really do think America is that bright shining city on a hill, and that Washington D.C. is supposed to be that, but you know what I mean. But we've got to come together, and we got to figure this thing out, because we are not doing it right now, and we need to kick these folks out that are dragging us down.
Do you mean John Thune? And do you mean John Cornyn? What's your message to John Thune on this? Because this really infuriated the base for him to say, I made a speech and I wrote a strongly worded letter, and that's all I'm going to do to pass the SAVE Act, which, of course, all available polling and all available data analysis shows that the SAVE Act, if enacted, would actually flip a number of blue states red and would make red states even redder. New Mexico, for instance, would flip red if only legal American citizens voted something that's a 80-20, 90-10 issue. But John Thune says that he wrote a really nice letter about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did, and I'm sure he gave a great speech. But the reality is, we need leaders, Benny. We don't need talkers. And right now, we got a bunch of talkers. And when people just keep, I've been in that fight before. I helped kick out our last Speaker of the House. It was one of 6 or 7 of us. I can't remember how many it was. And it's a tough gig. But if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. And this is one of those issues that you really need to address one way or the other. Put it on the floor, make them vote for it. Find out who's against it and find out why. And that's what leaders do. I can't tell you how many times I've put a bill up knowing it's going to get, when I was in the legislature, knowing it's going to get beat, but I wanted to put people on record, and I did. You know where they are today, Benny? I don't either. They're not in the dadgum legislature, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I think that you're seeing a very different Republican Party, too, because of what happened in Indiana and because of what's happening right now with redistricting throughout the South. I think you're seeing like people that are willing to fight. But there are some Republican legislators that are leaving a blue seat here, a blue seat there. What's your advice to Republican state legislatures that are redistricting right now?
You're going to get your hat handed to you. When the Democrats get in control, they're going to take every bit of your power, and you're going to look over your shoulder and say, what in the world did we just do? What did we just do? And it's not let's get them before they get us. Let's just follow the dadgum law and do what we've been sitting here to do. Quit worrying about hurting somebody's feelings.
Will any feelings get hurt when President Trump releases the 46 UFO videos? You've been banging this drum for a while, Congressman.
I hope so, brother. I hope they hurt a lot of feelings. But what you're seeing right now is Trump's kept his word, but you've got some very bad people that work within some of these departments for whatever reason are blocking a lot of it and are stopping it or stonewalling it. And things are moving around and they can't find things, and it just goes down the list. But Trump's top people are working on it, and I've talked to them, and I know exactly what they're experiencing. I mean, they've been hiding this stuff since at least 1947. Dadgum, they're not gonna turn it loose that easy.
And we had Jeremy Corbell on yesterday, and he was talking through what may, what could be the result of the release of all of the information. What do you think? First off, do you think it's going to happen? And then what do you think the American reaction will be from the public?
I think Trump and his people are going to give it every effort. Going to continue to the last day they're in office, and I think it will. I think we'll get most of it. I don't think we'll get all of it, just because of the nature of it. But because again, it's a deep state. It's like I told Trump. I mean, you hire the top 2 or 3 level people, but it's those ones underneath that are lifers that are owned and compromised, and they have no willpower to do what's right.
Final question for you, Congressman. What's your take on Anna Paulina Luna potentially running for RNC chair? She announced yesterday that she's interested in doing that. Would you support that?
I talk to Luna all the time. I talked to her yesterday. She'd be great at that if she chose to do that. She would change it. She's a messaging goddess. I mean, she knows how to do it. And she's smart. Don't underestimate her. She's one of those that ran for office first time and got beat and came back and won. And she is a fighter, and she's well versed, and she gets the game, and she does it for all the right reasons. She's got a wonderful husband, a beautiful little baby boy, Henry, and that's what she does it for. She does it for the future of this country, and as long as we have people like that, we're going to be in good shape. But these charlatans that we've kind of in the past, we'll put somebody in, and then we'll put a good one in, and then a not so good one in. We need to represent this group or that group or whatever, or this thought process. That gets us smoked every dadgum time. But she's great. I would love it. I think the Democrats would laugh about it out publicly, but behind the scenes, there would be much gnashing of teeth. I would say they'd be in a lot of pain over that, because she knows the young people, and she knows how to get the word out and what they're talking about, and the future of our country and our party, and bring young conservatives to the table. And I think we need a lot of that. They don't just need to be out putting up yard signs.
That's right. She and I both came up with Charlie at the exact same time at Turning Point USA,
I know
close to 10 years ago, and it was quite a class right there, and doing our best to carry forward that legacy. And we thank you, Congressman, for also carrying forth the legacy of hard truths instead of sweet lies, and that's what the party needs so much more of. Godspeed, Congressman, as ever.
Thank you, Benny.
Have a great one, and one of these days, man, you're gonna show me that that gas station Mexican restaurant in your district. I can't wait.
Yeah, the Mexon. I was just there last week.
Can't wait. We'll see you in Tennessee. Thanks, Congressman.
Love you, Benny. See you, brother.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Paulina Luna saying fact check true. Let's pop that up. Fact check true. I would like to run for RNC chairwoman. What do you think about that? How do you like them apples, ladies and gentlemen? Ooh, boy. Okay. Well, the RNC has some great financing right now. The we covered yesterday in a breaking news piece that Elon Musk has effectively become our George Soros. Obviously, he's a very different human being, but he has donated approximately as much money this cycle as George Soros has to the left. You want to know why Elon Musk has a larger security team than President Trump has? That's why. They want this man dead. If you want to know the future of the country, just look at where people are donating and the movements they're donating to. The biggest donors in all of America now have swung very hard towards the president, and that's a very good thing for the RNC, which is flush with cash, along with a number of other committees. The Democrats are broke. They're dead broke. And they know that if they botch this midterms, that they will be in a really bad place. The money is the blood in the bloodstream that keeps the body politic moving, that keeps these parties moving. That's just the way that it is. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you're not broke and you're not in debt. American Financing can absolutely help your summertime expenses. In 2026, they are stacking up faster than ever. Family vacations. I'm about to go to Yellowstone with my kids. Gas prices and looming tuition, camp fees, and so on. For many of us, it feels like the only option is swiping credit cards and getting you trapped in a cycle of high-interest credit card debt. That credit card debt, I think, is immoral. It should be illegal, 20 and 30%. Get out of that debt today. Get honest advice from salary-based consultants, saving their customers hundreds of dollars per month. Getting real breathing room, you should start today. American Financing is America's home for home loans, 888-528-1219. You can call 888-528-1219, AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody who's looked into plenty of bank accounts live on this program is the great Chairman James Comer. He joins us live right now. Mr. Chairman, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Good morning to you. Okay, so I just got to start with Trump and China. So the president's in China. You've done a lot of research into China, the Biden bank accounts and their dealings with China. How do you think Trump's going to set the table here today? And what do you think's changed since the Biden era?
Well, Trump's going in with a lot of leverage and a lot of credibility, whereas the Bidens had no credibility. When China looked at the Bidens, they look, all right, this is a guy that we bought off his family, and Joe knows about it. So Joe was compromised by China. That's a fact. I wrote a book about it. I mean, there's no question about that. With respect to Trump, he comes in first day, and he puts massive tariffs on China. And why that's important, because when you look at China, yes, they bought agriculture goods from us, and I hope they continue to buy ag goods from us, but they cheat. They cheat on manipulating their currency. They steal our intellectual property. They steal our patents. Committed massive hacks of software systems all across the board in the United States in every industry. So they don't comply with environmental rules and laws. They don't comply with basic labor laws. So they are a bad actor. Having said that, we do prosper when we could, if we could have a free and fair trade relationship with China. China's like Iran. They're not known for their honesty, and they go back on a lot of deals they make. Having said all this, President Trump's going in there. He's inflicted pain on China with the tariffs. Their economy is struggling because of the tariffs that we've put on China. So I think that there's a willingness for China to listen to the proposal that Trump makes, and I hope his proposal includes things like fair trade, where they start buying soybeans again at the same level as they were. They buy airplanes from Boeing. They import energy from American energy companies. But also, they stop cheating on their currency manipulation and stop stealing our intellectual property, stop having spy stations all over the United States, and stop sending fentanyl to the United States. So there's a lot on the table. It's going to be a Herculean task to accomplish, but if anybody can do it, Donald Trump can.
Mr. Chairman, I'm very sorry, but your audio is just really off, and I don't know exactly why. It sounds like it might be a studio thing or potentially some type of mic that's not selected correctly, and we apologize for that. Maybe we can get it fixed, but before you go, or maybe we go fix that. Just your take on Thomas Massie and the primary election coming up in the next couple of days in Kentucky. Did want to get your opinion on this.
Yeah, by all accounts, it's going to be very close. My son's had some baseball games in Thomas's district, and I've just noticed there's billboards everywhere. There are TV ads. Just a lot of money being spent in that election on both sides, and I think it's coin flip right now.
Coin flip. All right. Well, at least we're not getting any more Mitch McConnell from the state of Kentucky. Please, one of these days, just guarantee us that Mitch McConnell's entire legacy will be gone from the state of Kentucky forever. It was really tough seeing him in the Senate yesterday. He looked rough. I mean, I hadn't seen him in a long time. Like, he looked like he was just getting propped up entirely. What a nightmare. Shouldn't allow that to happen to people. It's totally humiliating.
Hopefully we'll have term limits very soon.
Yes, that would be nice. Godspeed, Mr. Chairman. We apologize for the technical difficulty here. But maybe we could potentially connect with your team and hop back on.
Good deal.
But good feed. Godspeed. You do your best, ladies and gentlemen. But sometimes when you can't, you can't hear the volume and you can't hear the mic and it's going in and out, it sounds like it's completely underwater. You just got to hope. We have a team that checks people in and that listens for these things, but sometimes it just goes haywire when you bring them on stage. So we're not sure. Maybe we can get it sorted out. I'm not sure. But till we do, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk with you about Blackout Coffee. It's right here. I was hoping for an excuse to have a sip of my Blackout Coffee today. Yeah, what do we got? Get after it. There we go. Get after it. Drink the coffee black, ladies and gentlemen. Blackout Coffee brewed right down the street from me. A couple counties over. Great Floridians. People who love this country. People that aren't grifters. People that aren't going to attack Kyle Rittenhouse. People that aren't going to, take St. Michael off their bag of coffee beans. They're wonderful patriots. They provide American jobs. They just want to make great coffee. They just want to power our movement. You should sign up for Blackout Coffee today. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use code Benny for 20% off your first order. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Join the coffee club today to upgrade your mornings. Coffee club gets you free shipping right to your door. This is absolutely the move, and you can stack up rewards and get free and bonus coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, blackoutcoffee.com, keeping us powered all the day long, all the live long day. Kash Patel versus Senator Van Hollen yesterday. This is the absolute most fire video out of yesterday's political ecosystem. Kash Patel and Van Hollen, who is the Democrat from Maryland, who traveled down to El Salvador to have margaritas with a convicted gangbanger and rapist, and made a complete and total fool of himself. Got bodied by Kash yesterday. Let's go.
Occasions when your security detail had difficulty waking or locating you. Is that right?
Nope, it's a total farce. I don't even know where you get this stuff, but it doesn't make it credible because you say so.
I'm not saying it, Director Patel. It's been written and documented.
You are literally saying it.
No, I'm saying that these are reports, Director Patel.
No,
and
unlike your baseless reports, the only person that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you. The only person that ran up a $7,000 bar tab in Washington, D.C. at the lobby bar was you. So the only individual in this room that has been drinking on taxpayer dime during the day is you.
Director Patel, come on. These are serious allegations that were made against you.
The allegations are false. Filed. You drinking margaritas with a gangbanger is true and on video.
It just goes to show you
running a $7,000 bar tab at the lobby bar has been filed by your own office.
This goes to show
drink during the day. That's you. This is the ultimate example of hypocrisy.
Mr. Chairman,
I will not be tarnished by baseless allegations and fraudulent statements from the media.
The fact that you mentioned that indicates you don't know what you are talking about. Now, here, Director
The only thing I know is you're the one drinking margaritas with felons.
Actually,
Do we have those receipts? Yeah, pop them up. Kash Patel dropping the receipts. Well, first off, of course, you've seen this, but then throw up the Kash Patel with the bar tab. It's amazing. FBI Director Kash Patel brings the literal receipts. I had never seen this. The $7,000 bar tab. How is that possible? When he's there on some type of fact-finding mission for the Senate, this is what you're paying for. This is what the American taxpayers are paying for. You should do more of this. This has 10,000 reposts. This has gone insanely viral yesterday. Way to call him out. Senator Van Hollen sitting there trying to lecture Kash Patel about drinking, and of all people. Okay, good. Winning. Hey, Alex, have we gotten anything else out of Trump and China? I was like, I'm like itching for more Trump China clips, but I know that it's like very late there, right? And so President Trump, I think, just rode through the streets and went straight to his hotel. I believe that's what's actually happening. Rand Paul, however, is having a hearing right now. That's a hearing that is live. He's doing a hearing on the origins of COVID. Dogs got a bone. A CIA whistleblower says that the deep state is still hiding the origins of COVID at hearing with Rand Paul. So expect the doors to be blown off of this today. Here we go. A 2-decade CIA veteran was detailed to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, where he worked and recently disbanded Directors Initiative group that studied how the pandemic started in Wuhan, China. I wonder if this will come up with President's visit to China today. He believes that there are people still within the CIA that were trying to obscure the truth, trying to withhold documents, and also testify that the CIA were actually spying on this group and eavesdropping on this group. It's unclear whether the CIA allegedly spied on the ODNI review group. This is crazy. CIA spying on our own government. What's new? The witnesses also is expected to testify that the CIA's leadership in 2021 quashed an expert assessment that COVID leaked from a Wuhan lab, resulting in the spy agency not making that finding until last year when public interest subsided. I think that it was 6-1 that the virus they believe came from the lab. Their conclusion was overridden by mid-level or senior people. At 2 a.m, the conclusions of the documents were changed. Dr. Fauci made a ton of secretive runs to the CIA, constantly traveling there. And Dr. Fauci was funded by the CIA. Why is Dr. Fauci funded by the CIA? Because Dr. Fauci was in charge of the bioweapons program in the Patriot Act. You can go look up the documents. We have them. We've shown them to you. Dr. Fauci created bioweapons laboratories here in America, and he kept leaking pathogens here in America. Obama, of all people, put a stop to it because it was so dangerous. And Obama probably saw the threat from the deep state if they were to release a pathogen on this country, that it would, of course, tank his presidency. But they ran that up overseas, took it overseas, and then infected American soldiers that were in Wuhan for the armed forces games. They had this global armed forces games where a bunch of nations' militaries competed against each other. In Wuhan, they released COVID at that time. And it was carried back to all nations. That's why Seattle was the first COVID outbreak point, because that's where they traveled to China from, our military and team members. And so this was an op. The whole thing was an op. Apparently, Rand Paul at 11 a.m. is going to crack this case wide open. So good for him. That's awesome. We do, in fact, want you to have a golden future in this country. We will be heading out to the Great West, starting with what I believe is tomorrow. Plans are a little bit in flux. But starting with what I believe to be potentially tomorrow, we'll be doing lives when President Trump is speaking and when President Trump is doing press conferences and things like that. But we're heading out to the Great Gold Rush West. I want to take my kids to Yellowstone. We'll be in Bozeman, so that's like right around the corner. I'm like, I want to take my children there. I have a bunch of children. I want to show them American greatness. And there's a lot of still a lot of gold in them hills, ladies and gentlemen. Advantage Gold is your gold supplier, the one that I trust. Advantage Gold can make sure that you are locked in to the asset class that is immovable, frankly, skyrocketing to its highest dollar per ounce rating in history, $5,500 an ounce, an all-time record. That's because billionaires are buying. Central banks are buying. Nation states are buying. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be buying. I trust Advantage Gold. It's part of my portfolio. We have diversified into gold. Really, really pleased with how it's all gone. They're giving my listeners a free gold investment kit. It's absolutely free. All you have to do is text Benny to 85545 right now. That's Benny to 85545 right now. Inside of your free kit from Advantage Gold, you'll discover an IRS-approved loophole where you can move your IRA or 401k into physical gold or silver, tax-free, penalty-free, no cost, no obligation. If it ain't waiting, call today or text Benny to 85545. Text Benny to 85545 for more information. All right, ladies and gentlemen, checking in with looks like we have an arrest Fauci. Looks like we have an arrest Fauci clip. This is from the Whistleblower. Since you just talked about it, why not play the clip? This one, the arrest Fauci. We were just talking about this. So this is the CIA whistleblower. Is that correct, ALX? Just checking in with my team, and he's live right now. And while we're not going to take this whole thing live, I do encourage you to watch it. Here's the Fox News clip of his opening statement about arresting Dr. Fauci. Here we go.
And other members of the Oversight Committee. Thank you for the complimentary introduction, and I appreciate the committee's dedication to transparency and accountability. I am a career CIA operations officer.
There we go.
And as you mentioned, I was on joint duty assignment at the Office of Director National Intelligence Directors Initiatives Group, or the DIG, between March 2025 and April 2026. I was responsible for leading the DIG's investigation into COVID origins, anomalous health incidents, and unidentified anomalous phenomena. I'm here today to discuss the COVID cover-up, the national security implications associated with the DIG's investigative findings, and CIA refusal to comply with lawful oversight, as well as how we remedy these problems. Intelligence community leaders and senior analysts downplayed the possibility that the COVID pandemic originated as a result of a lab incident. Motives are difficult to define given the scope of the DIG's review. Intentional or not, the IC's actions resulted in a cover-up, wasted resources, and a failure to properly inform policymakers. Public health policy would have been very different had the American public been made aware that a virus from a lab in China was going to serve as the foundation for an emergency use authorization mRNA products being mandated by the former administration. Dr. Fauci's role in the cover-up was intentional. Dr. Fauci influenced the analytical process and findings by leveraging his position to ensure the IC consulted with a conflicted list of curated subject matter experts, public health officials, and scientists. This included some of the authors of the paper, The Proximal Origin of SARS-CoV-2, and other public health experts who have been in his orbit for the last 20-plus years. Some of the scientists were part of the Biological Sciences Experts Group, or the BSEG, an office of Director National Intelligence Advisory Body, whose members often receive considerable funding from NIAID and public health agencies. The BSEG scientists influenced national laboratory WMD research, policy decisions, finished analysis, and other intelligence matters, creating misaligned incentives and conflicts of interest, as well as counterintelligence issues. Since 2006, the BSED consulted part-time on biodefense issues for the IC, while conducting government.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe what I just heard. CIA officer just said it. He said they're going to get Fauci. He said that if Dr. Fauci engaged in the actual cover-up and of the not only the origins of the virus, but the creation of the virus, and now they have the CIA whistleblower on the record. On the record. Also, I want this show to be on the record against Thomas Massie. I've seen enough. I am looking at these polling numbers. Look amazing. Here we go. Let's pop them up. It's a brand new poll. It's just out seconds ago. Thomas Massie is losing by what looks to be 8 points, a spread of 8 points right now to Ed Gallerin, who should be winning this race in about a week. This is going to be a huge race in order to test the power of MAGA and in order to test the power of our movement. Thomas Massie has voted consistently with it. He's the number one vote with the Democrats in the entire Republican caucus. He does this as a personal grudge against Donald Trump. And you hate to play power politics like this, but you have to send a message. The hour is late. The time is dire. We need every single one that we can get on our side. And if you're going to call yourself America First, but then betray America First every single time you get a chance, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, then you don't deserve to win your seat. Go run as a Democrat. This is what you want to do. You're from Massachusetts. You're not from Kentucky. Go run as a Democrat. And again, if you want to go on CNN and grind an axe and go on The View, go on MS Now and grind an axe and be beloved by corporate media, the decision is simple. Change your party, switch parties, run as a Democrat. Ladies and gentlemen, our next and final guest, and again, we apologize for Chairman Comer having a broken mic there, is somebody who's not a broken mic. He's Representative Mike Lawler. He's from a district that we must win in New York. New York's 17. And, okay, they're not ready. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but we've got to go. Yeah, so we'll apologize to Mike Lawler. We have to get going today. We have a ton of stuff to do before the end of the day, but we apologize. I thought that the congressman was set, but we just got to keep moving. Our verse of the day today from Proverbs 17, verse 27. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Make sure that you are in everything bringing peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. They will be called the children of God. Hopefully that is what President Trump is doing today in China. Hopefully that is the peace that follows you around in your life. And as much as we try, ladies and gentlemen, on this program to wage war against evil, you have to do so in a way that you remain chill, okay? Do so in a way where you keep your head, especially over the massive ops that we've all had to live through over the last few weeks. It's wonderful to see winning again. Keep winning with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Benny Show. March with us on to victory. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and a dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. Come to mind, the salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.